my mind a lot. Don't need no time watch. I don't know how I got you in my pocket spot. Yeah, that's babe, need you every day. You like my oxygen, make it seem like the barging down. Got my heart no barging in. From the bed to the floor to the couch. Might wake the neighbors up, break you in and break you out. In the end, we're gonna make it.
Welcome back, everybody. Another episode of All Time High. Deanna, can you tell our listeners what they should be doing now as we wait?
You should be hitting that subscribe button and that follow button and the like button. Do all those things so you never miss an episode, because you never know when Jim's going to be funny and you don't want to miss it.
Today might be an episode. Today might be an episode. I mean, the things that have been transpiring lately, we've got Bob. What about Bob?
What about
Bob Hoskinson? That was a movie, I think, with Richard
It
Dreyfuss.
was a movie.
And
Yeah,
maybe Bill Murray. I'm not sure. But yeah, way back in the day.
it was. Oh my God. How old are we?
I know. I've just dated myself, and that's okay. That's okay.
It's okay. It's all right.
But, you know, lately there's been a lot of controversy about the legislation. People that have been, like you, Deanna. Do you know
Oh, I don't know.
Charles
No.
Hoskinson? I said Bob, but really?
Yeah, no, I met him at the Nexus conference back in 2017, and he's awesome. He's great to talk to. We're friends on Facebook. I'm not like BFFs with him, but we are friends on Facebook. You're not friends with him on Facebook?
No. I met him at a conference too in DC. And so I got a different treatment, apparently. He asked me, after 30 seconds with me, he handed me over to, he had an advisor with him.
Yeah,
And
well,
so I
that's
was not allowed to communicate, much less be friends with him.
I helped organize the conference, so I actually had a reason, but it was amazing.
Why?
Because
Okay.
all of the people that I ended up getting to meet and like make contacts with from that.
Well, you know, part of the problem for me, you can help me out with this. Maybe I went up to him, and I've been around a lot of famous athletes. I do not get nervous around athletes because I grew up in that environment. But
Right.
I kind of got a little nervous when I was about to meet him. And you know what I said that I never
Around
say
Bob?
to anybody?
What?
I said, I'm a really big fan. And I mean, that is like the last thing to say. And I think that's why I got handed off to the
Um,
handler. Oh,
you
the
know-
fans, they're over here. OG, talk to me.
The one time I really nerded out meeting somebody, it was a
Yeah.
fitness model. Her name's Jamie Easton. And I walked up to her and I went, I know who you are. Looking back, it was like, God, that's so creepy. But I was really excited.
And did she
what came to
turn and
mind.
run in the other direction, or did she talk to
No, she was like, okay.
okay, this is kind of
All
weird.
right.
Like, was it at a convention, or was this in a restaurant, or at a
No, it was in the Army.
Shopping
She
center.
came her and Clay Guida came and did like a MWR meet and greet. And
Okay.
I was one of the soldiers that, and the funny, I didn't even care about Clay Guida. I knew who he was, but I was like, that's Jamie Easton.
she's a big deal. No, and that's kind of the way I felt, because he was talking, and is outside in the foyer of one of the blockchain conferences, actually in DC, which
Oh.
brings us back to what's happening here on screen in a second.
Yeah.
Like, he has gone out of his way multiple times to call out different people as we're on the precipice of this legislation getting passed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you
As
want-
he should. As he should. I mean, it's like enough's enough already. It's been around. Bitcoin was made in 2008. So you're talking in 2 years, it's going to be 20 years. And in 20 years, you're going to tell me we can't come up with some kind of sustainable way that's businesses can do business that's legal and accountable. That's crazy to me. It's crazy.
You know, and I was really upset for you, because I saw this headline come across, and I know how enamored you are with Ripple and XRP. And so when I saw this, you know, Hoskinson blast Ripple CEO, Garland, I knew you were going to be upset. I knew at that point.
Come on, Bob.
And a fresh public rant. And that's only because he was ranting on another channel previously. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually play a little bit from this episode. Now, is my screen showing
No.
the episode? All right, let me re-share my screen. The technology challenge that we perpetually have.
I know
One
it's
day,
great when it
we're gonna-
works.
When
It's
it
great.
works, when we hit
It's
it big,
great.
we're going to have producers and directors and makeup and lighting and all that stuff.
All the things.
All the things.
I mean, we
can
have all
dream.
those things now, but they're us.
Yeah, that's right. We are production and editing and our own makeup artists. All right, here we go. Charles Hoskinson. What did he have to say about? Oh no, that's the wrong one. Lucky I caught us. Sorry. This will probably, if it's not edited, I would recommend one of the great life hacks. Watch this stuff at 2x.
Yeah, there you go. Just double the speed. Anyways, so I'm going to Vegas this week for the UFC 324. I'm super excited about it. It's going to be Justin Gaethje and Patty Pimlet. Patty
Okay.
to Patty. Love them. So good. Like, so two of my favorite fighters. It should be an amazing freaking fight, and it's the headline fight. And it's on Paramount now, so you don't have to pay for it anymore. A little shout out.
No, that's pretty good. I mean, we got fights and battles going on left, right, front, center. You're going to be in Vegas. This battle is going down in DC. And here we go.
And what we got is Elizabeth Warren wrote the bill. That's leadership we can believe in. And you still got people like Brad saying, well, it's not perfect, but we just got to get something. It's better than no clarity. Hand it to the same people who sued us. Hand it to the same people who put us out of business, who subpoenaed us, who put us in jail. That's better? That's what we fought for. And what we got is.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Deanna, I'm just going to lean out and get your take on what he's talking about.
Yeah, I'm not. Let's all think about for a second. What was the one time Schmoverment really tried to get involved in crypto? Can we think of it?
Can I think of it?
Yeah, it was the only freaking, it was like their poster boy. It was the only company that they all wanted to. No, because that was SEC, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, nope. So I'm thinking of a crypto company that Gary Gensler was into.
The Sam Bankman-Fried
FTX
debacle. Yes,
yes,
for sure.
This is what happens. So you take the people who let me say this. I'm much more impressed with the level of knowledge that I've seen on Capitol Hill in the last few years than there was, 8 years ago when we went and tried and talked to them. I do not know that Elizabeth Warren meets that criteria as somebody who's gained their knowledge, but they were putting people in jail left and right. They were suing everybody left and over dumb stuff, over things that weren't even really things, just because they failed to specify. So you really think that, what do they say, that future behavior is past behavior is a thing of future predictor? I don't know. You know what I'm saying, right? So if they were a mess before, there's no incentive for them to get it right now. So they're just going to mess it up again. I think Charles is spot on. I don't think it was a crazy rant. I think he's right.
Well, he's calling out your friend, another one of your friends, right? Brad Garlinghouse. Why is this space so secular? Why is it like, what is Brad doing wrong? Is it that he's saying we'll take whatever we can get and move on?
I mean, yeah, probably. Ripple's a bank, right? Ripple was made for banking. So it's supposed to replace the SWIFT system. And if you've got Ripple in bed with banking, and this bill happens to be very favorable for banking, and Ripple has nothing to lose, right? But when you start talking about consumers, whereas Coinbase is more consumer reliant, even though they have their hands in a lot of things too, then they have a little more stake, a little more invested in making sure that their clients are protected. So, at the end of the day, it's really who's in bed with who. And it's situations like this where the lines, I think, become very clear.
Very clear. What and how so?
Well, you can.
That's a loaded comment.
Who's for the banks and who's not for the banks right now? Because if you're for the banks, you support the bill. If you're not for the banks, you don't support the bill.
Yeah, and I think that's where this whole thing comes together or falls apart, because it was very much a libertarian movement.
Yeah,
I'm all for it. I want it to be, but I never ever thought it was going to be down with the banks or down with the schmoverment. Like that just wasn't. I know that ethos exists out there and the idea, but it's just crazy to me, like, that a company, let's call Bitcoin, if it were a company, to have this thing, this entity, this person who we don't know who it is, yet there's all this investment, which is why I believe at the end of the day that it's connected to some type of schmoverment operation. Otherwise, they wouldn't let it happen. And it was just a gateway to get us to this place. And the thing about Bitcoin to me has always been it's decentralized, right? That's the compelling differentiating factor. Is that fair?
Yeah. 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 100%.
And the problem, I think, is that Ripple is seen as something that is very centralized.
Centralized. Yeah.
And I think what's happening to Hoskinson, it's challenging his very core belief. Like maybe even the reason he got into the space was because he was one of those down with this and let's bank the unbanked and let's make the world a better place and let the code management, because human intervention, which is what you're talking about, always results, not always, but typically results in them doing something that benefits themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, well, so I will tell you that I took a different approach. Okay. I am semi like down with the schmoverment. I don't think it should get bigger. I think it should get smaller. Having been in schmoverment for almost 20 years, the very first thing, you know, blockchain and military, all the stuff that you have going on right now in other states with fraud and all these suspected things, you wouldn't have to have that. Do we need to have government if we can have a DAO? Do we need to have, and this is where this technology, in my opinion, becomes so amazing, is because it does replace some of these inefficient ways that we have right now where fraud is rampant and our money is going missing and things are kind of going crazy and nobody really seems to care about it. These systems can replace that. And, you know, hopefully just like AI, we get to the point where it starts doing that a little bit faster. I think in some ways I'm optimistic and in other ways I'm not, because if you're religious or biblical by any sense, then I think a lot of the end time prophecies, you know, where they start talking about a one world order, when they start talking about a one world currency.
Oh yeah, this
start,
one's banned. I mean?
Like
this one's banned. So you're there. You tripped the censors now. Not that we weren't dancing on the line up to this point, but
because of schmoverment.
No, one world order and stuff like that. Oh, man, like no. So now that you've crossed that line, now that you've jumped, like this is jumping the shark in this episode, without a doubt. Just go for it now. Just get it all out there, Deanna. Just go for it.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying, like it's double-edged, right? I noticed when I got into crypto, all of the amazing things that I saw it could do. Now I'm seeing schmoverment come in and grab it and do all the things we didn't want it to do. And like being able to trace us and digital IDs and, you know, vaccine passports and just all this crazy stuff that now they're going to be able to do because this technology exists. So while they stifled the innovation, they have no problem abusing it when it suits them.
Yes. And there's some very political things that are going on. You mentioned AI. And so at the beginning of this term of the resident leader of the free world, I was saying resident instead of president, but whoever it is, right? It doesn't have to be a person or the person, just the leader of the free world. I'll say it that way in my mind, in my ethnocentric USA way. The choice to appoint a crypto czar was something also that Hoskinson talked about. And so let's talk about czars for a second. You know, one of the reasons the election went the way it did was because crypto became a single issue vote. And there were a lot of people that aligned on one side. But the czar before, do you remember the czar from the last election? What there might have been a czar of? Since this episode has already been censored.
Oh, no.
Do you remember the border czar? Do you remember her?
Oh, the border czar. Yeah.
Remember that was the way they walked in the door? And then how did that thing go? Like it didn't go as planned, did it? It was not really a shutdown. It was more of an open up.
Yeah.
And there was a great deal of critiquing that went down that path. And I'm not here to say anything. I'm neutral. I don't want to, that's not where my head is in this, but I'm listening now to Hoskinson again. We're going to play another cut for you. And he starts talking about the crypto czar. Do you know the crypto czar? A guy that we have talked a lot about on the show, David Sachs. Now, before Bob says whatever he's going to say, what is your take on the job that David Sachs has done to date?
Honestly, I don't even know what he's done to date. I haven't seen, am I missing? Like, is there a bunch of new regulation or like compliance that's been put out that I'm not tracking? I would think it'd be part of his job to make sure this bill gets through. No?
That would be
Actually,
right.
Why didn't he write it? Why is Elizabeth Warren writing it? Why isn't he writing it?
Thank you. And you're right down the path. And so listen to what Hoskinson says about that.
If they had a proper crypto czar that knew what he was doing, no experience in government, no connections to our industry other than just passively buying things, what he or she would have done is first start with kind of a 180-day plan to bring together the totality of the opinions of each vertical in the industry. So all the exchanges, the DeFi people, the meme coin people, the NFT people, you don't leave anybody out. You go and talk to all of them, including the stable coins and the RWA. Okay. Then you look for the Venn diagram of, okay, what do we need to do on the statutory side? So the law side to update and modernize the Securities Exchange Act and the CFTC so that they have a regulatory, skeleton. And then how do we build a rulemaking process that takes 2 to 3 years that's inclusive, meaning it's a public-private partnership. Right? And so you have the industry have a seat at the table and they work alongside the CFTC and the SEC and they write the rules. And there's an opportunity to update, modernize a lot of stuff. Like, why can't we do automatic KYC and AML? Why is it still a paper-based system and it's a company to company system? Why can't a smart contract do KYC and AML? And what you do is you have the regulatory body write the standards, and then the industry writes the smart contracts, and then the regulatory body certifies them. And it says if you use these certified contracts, you're in full compliance and settlements compliance. That alone would save $500 billion a year across the entire financial industry. And it makes the banks' lives easier, in addition to our industry's lives. And it allows you to do global regulation in a very simple way. You see, but you do that through rulemaking. You don't have to do that with a senator or a congressman or anything like that. But it requires kind of bringing the industry together, establishing what is a universal versus a particular concern. You don't want lobbying for particular concerns to give Coinbase or Kraken or Binance an unfair advantage. You want to look at universal concerns.
Or give benefits to FTX, which is what was happening the first run through.
Yes, it was.
Boy, he basically says, Sachs, you're not doing your job. You probably should step out of the way for the crypto czar because I'm the guy. It's one thing when you find a problem, let's say you can complain about it. But he basically sitting out and stepping out and saying, this is how you solve it. This is how I would have done it.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And I love, actually, I think this is very perfect assessment of the situation is we're transitioning from this very closed one company, one person mindset to a collaborative, collective, right? So like the financial system, it's there, it's in, it's tight, it's one. Now we're decentralizing it. The way that we're doing these rules instead of these single individuals and coming together, let's make an entire board that does it. And so there's very different mindsets, I think, between these two types of industries or these two types, from traditional banking into crypto. And sometimes that's where they butt heads is we're like, why can't we all collaborate? And the banks are like, because we want to own everything.
And I can't tell, like, there's a sense to me of where he's at. And it feels like he got left out of the room. Right.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like to me too. Like he's a little butthurt about it.
Yeah. And that's the only problem. I'm not saying what he said wasn't correct. In fact, turn down the volume and listen to it. And it's very poignant and well said. And like, hey, but in his process, in who he is, he's bringing down the people that are leading the charge right now. And then I look at Coinbase with Brian Armstrong, something we covered on a previous episode, and he's taking it down too. Mm-hmm. Is anything ever going to get passed, Deanna? Is the legislation, is it really going to be clarity or is it going to continue to be chaos? Such a good line. I'm going to use it again in this episode.
Clarity or chaos? I don't know. I'm going to say I'm not as hopeful as I was last time we recorded. I think, especially when they're saying like, oh, if certain things don't get done, the White House is pulling support. And then it's, some of it's political pressure, some of it's games, but I'm not as hopeful as I was, which is a shame. You know what I mean? It's sad. It's sad that, like, why not? Why don't we have clear regulations still? I mean, we were on Capitol Hill 8 years ago talking about it, and I was late to the game. That was 8 years ago. In 8 years, we haven't figured out anything about the industry and how to write proper legislation to guide it. Come on.
And you know what's crazy right now? Other countries have it. Like, you all the APAC region, most of Europe, they have guidelines. And so if I took, and I shouldn't say this, but I'm going to, you take this isn't funny. It's kind of sad. You take ChatGPT and you say, here are all the different rules and regs from all these others. This is the country we're in. We want to be the innovation leader. We want to be this, that, the other. Get a bipartisan bill that will be able to be approved by both sides of the aisle and refine the command prompt and get you some legislation that works.
Yes. Now they really don't have any excuses to be like writing crappy bills or being like, oh, it just passed through, because ChatGPT could literally be doing all of it. Claude, go pass that thing through Claude and be like, tell me what things I should be concerned about. It's crazy.
For my constituents or for the greater good or for whatever it is that you're fighting for. So down that path, who is Hoskinson fighting for? Is he fighting for himself because he got left out? Is he fighting the industry because he doesn't feel like he's getting his acknowledgments? Is he fighting for the old school libertarian dream that seems to be escaping or exiting stage left?
I think maybe a little bit of all of the above. It seemed like he's frustrated there's not solutions yet. I mean, you remember, he's the founder of a coin. And
Cardano,
so
yeah.
when there's not clear guidelines, they're the ones that get caught up. And this is why I always think Bitcoin is the only true decentralized, because nobody knows who made it. Like, who are you going to go lock up for Bitcoin? But any other crypto, you can point to a single point or a group of people who created it, which is why, in my opinion, all of them are centralized. Unless,
Fair enough. Yeah, that could be argued for sure.
Yes,
Yeah.
there are some that implement DAOs that take it to a different level. But he's frustrated, like, why don't we have these solutions? The reason why I think he took it a little bit past personal is because he went all inclusive in the industry. He wasn't just saying like, hey, get everybody together. He was like, no, look, get all of the verticals of this together and let's all talk about it. And to me, that signifies that he's thinking about it as a whole.
He is.
Right? Yeah. And so
But he's splintering and fracturing at a personal level. He's basically attacking the people that are in those prominent positions right now with this administration. And so it's almost like he's willing to lose the battle and the war.
Yeah, so could you imagine finding a piece of technology and being so moved by it that you can innovate off of it and you build something extremely sustainable and incredible, and at any moment you could be arrested because you may have broken a law that you didn't even know existed because there's no clear guidance, right? That's very nerve-wracking. Like, and it's a thing. It's legitimately a thing. A lot of these crypto guys are getting arrested for very dumb things, like dumb things. Like, we had a guy get arrested because he filled out paperwork in blue ink in the Isle of Man. Seriously.
That for another episode. Cliffhanger. I like how you did that.
Dun, dun, dun.
We'll get Deanna to tell that story on the next episode of All Time High. Until then, have a great day. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.
You on my mind a lot. Don't need no time, watch.